EDC. Does everyone know what EDC is? Keep it simplified.
No, please explain.
Everyday carry. So they're items that you'll carry on yourself every day that are useful to you and your environment that you're working in. Does anyone have a standard everyday carry? For an example, have you got one? Car keys? Car keys
wallet,
is an example of
some
that.
money,
So
credit card.
we live in a world just now that everything gets taken over by price and design and everything like that. So people worry about having a designer pry bar that's 50 quid by Vitesse Designs and stuff like that. You know, a mini pry bar that goes on your keychains, it isn't useful for anything at all that I can think of. So I don't know why you'd ever everyday carry that. So things that I would carry every day, of which I do, is have my keys, and on that keys I've got a resuscitation shield. That's all the time. If you're here for the first aid one, they got handed out new ones. So they were handy. Joe handed those out, so that was good too. So that's an everyday carry for me. I've come across situations where I've actually needed to use it, so I find that an essential. And on with my keys, I've got a simple flashlight and bottle opener. Now people always say, why do you carry a flashlight during the day? Well, we've all lost stuff that have went under units, under couches and that, so you'll use a flashlight. It is one of those strange things that you think, I'd only use it at night time, but you do use it. So that's just a couple of simple things there. Now, with the everyday carry that I always carry as well, is a pocket first aid kit. So this is dead simple. This is just a couple of plasters, alcohol wipes, and a dressing. You've seen the size of it. So that just sits dead comfortably in your pocket. It can get washed and everything because it's in a vacuum sealed packet, because you always forget to take them out of your work gloves anyways. It's not the same size as a first aid kit, so it's nice and simple, nice and small. It's a great little everyday carry. You can pick these up in the shop, J Bushcraft, if you want. You can make them to whatever you want. So if you want gloves and everything in there, you can get that. But it's only it's only a simple pocket carry, so plasters and some wipes, you know, if you're going to nick yourself. And then my main carry is, because we're in the UK, we can't carry fixed blades or blades over a certain length, or locking blade. So I carry Leathermans. Now I'm kind of contradicting myself there, because Leathermans come with all sorts of different blades, attachments on it too. But we're all grown men. We know what we can carry, what we can't. We know where to carry and where not to carry. So it comes down to common sense. You're only going to get stopped if you're looking suspicious, or you know, if you've pulled it out in Asda to open a packet of crisps or something, you know, you're going to get done. It's as simple as that. You can put that on your belt and then have your jumper down over the top of it. It's as simple as that. Now, I've always carried the Leatherman. They're so handy just by the nature of them. That's the charge. So it's nice and simple. And that, the molly patch for that has got a torch in it too. So I'll just attach it. It's all about, it just keeps it all nice, discreet and compact. So I'll pass it around if you're not seen them. Does anyone else carry that?
Yeah, it's a subject carry.
Yeah, so just good. They now do a UK compatible one, the rebar, so it's bladeless, and that's an EDC carry now. So you don't have to worry about being stopped, because it's basically a pair of pliers with a screwdriver attachment on it. So that is basically what we carry now. It goes into different things now. So ED carry, there's loads of groups if you've seen them on Facebook, everything like that. They go into carrying designer hanks, designer knives, designer pry bars. It's all nice, and it's all you know, challenge coins and stuff like that. It's all nice, but practical, not really. EDC was only ever what was practical. Some of us have been doing it since we were kids and not even realising it, by putting a screwdriver in your pocket, putting a handkerchief in your pocket, whatever. That's your everyday carry. So it's all what's useful to you when you're carrying every day. It's just about keeping it simple as well. You can have nice designer shiner things if you want, but I don't really. I might have one or two items that have been a bit pricey, but I don't carry them every day, and I'd be lying if I said I did. So that's what I carry. I just carry the normal Leatherman's charge, a wee pocket first aid, just plasters and that, some wipes, resus mask. That's what. Any questions? Anyone got any different takes on everyday carry? What do you think?
Surely what what you need.
It's down to your personal choice, but also it's down. Everyone always forgets about the environment, so your everyday carry can change each day, and you've got to be aware. It's a bit like your bug out bag, so you've got to be aware that it changes all the time. So it changes to where you're at or what you're doing, you know. So that's it. So if that's enough for that, any questions? Anything? Nope. So we'll move on to Police Scotland. It's Preparedness Month, September. So Police Scotland issued a diagram of what they call a grab and go bag, really a preparedness bag, bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. If I'm honest with you, it was actually a really good idea. They give it a bit of thought about it, and the things they put in were basic. They did forget one thing, which I'm not really too sure why they forgot it, but we'll come across that because I'll ask you about it and we'll mention it because I'm going to do an add-on to the kit. So we'll go through what they suggested you carry. Now, people are saying, "Oh shit, here's a fan zombie apocalypse and all that crap," and for Brexit. That wasn't that wasn't what this was aimed at. This is a comfort bag. So basically what that is with upcoming Brexit and things like that, and with everything with travel, they're predicting travel chaos, and there might be a few civil unrest, and you get left into your building at work. So it's a comfort bag. So basically it's things that'll keep you there for that night till you can get public transport or get transport to get home. So don't get the idea that they've done this and it's a fan zombie apocalypse bag. It's not a bug out bag at all. I would call it a comfort bag. And it's really, I think it's a good idea. There's loads of people are on it and they're like, oh man, they've not put this in it and that's crap, and they've not done this, and there's no knife in it, there's no cutting tools, there's no Israeli bandage. You don't need this. It was never about that. It was just a simple preparedness bag for if you get caught up in a railway strike, you know, your mode of transport goes down, buses, railway, or you're stuck in the building. That's all it really is. There's any questions on that?
I think they misnamed it, to be honest. I think going the American route is saying an emergency pack, and this is a get you home or a you're stuck at work bag.
Yeah.
Which the Americans have been recommending for the past 10 years or so.
Well, there's that many different types of packs that it would actually be impossible for me to bring them all in to do it. You've got so much. You've got your get home. You've got your inch bags. You've got your 72-hour bag, your 24-hour bag, your 48 bag, the preparedness bag, your comfort bag, your grab bag. There's that many different types of bags for different scenarios. It's impossible. You've got your earthquake bag, you've got your flood bag, you've got your evacuation bags, you've got your food bags.
That's the American actually says that if you're prepared, it is split like that. So if you're in an area where earthquakes are, this is the sort of things you look for. If it's just a comfort bag for 24 hours, 12 hours or something like that, during a daylight, you've got to be stuck in buses or whatever. Here's a suggestion.
It's common sense things, really, and that's what I think was good about this aid. And although there's been a lot of people jumping onto it saying, "Oh, that's crap" and this and that, I think it's actually a good prompt for people who would never generally think about it. 80% of people take a bag to work, whether they put the peace box in it or a waterproof jacket or a reading book in it. So they have got room, and it's not heavy, this kit that they're putting in it. So it actually makes more sense than what it does wrongs with it. So we'll go through some of the things on it. Now, let's not get weighed down by the type of pack that it is. That's my pack, MTP. The great man thing is a whole different scenario. It's just your backpack, so we don't need to worry about whether it's Coyote, DPM, MTP, bright orange, bright pink, whatever it is. The colour of the pack's irrelevant to what the whole grab bag was. So So that's the whole different ball game, and I think people get lost in the translation of it. So it is Preparedness Month. So what they suggested you carry within your pack, different things really, and it's all sensible things. Notepad and pen, and then with this you can put a preparedness plan inside that. So that one there's a Right in the Rain one, all weather standard. You can buy them in the shop. A couple of markers, pens with it, A whistle. You also said put a whistle in your pack, just for sound and for help, really. So it is, if you know what's a blast for survival. Anyone? Anyone? Speak. Anyone?
3 to 6.
Yep. So there is key things that they've not told you about, but at the point of that is, if you're blasting the whistle, someone's going to hear it. And the same as banging on pipes. You know, you bang 3 times. You don't need to know Morse code that someone's in distress and whatnot with that. So that's a jet scream. It's really loud, really good whistle. Again, you can buy them in most shops, preferably a bushcraft store. Okay. So notepad and pen was put in. Good idea. The next thing was a little comfort pack. What the comfort pack is, it's just hygiene. So deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush. Really, that's all you've got in there. Nice and simple. If you're overnight, you don't want your breath stinking. So, you know, you don't want your pits to be stinking and that. So just a little simple wash bag. That's all it is. You know, you can, next time you're out with the wife, kids, partners, boyfriends, whatever, you float your boat, go get yourself some toiletries for it, you know. So you non-gender people out there, get whatever you want. Water, let's say put a water bottle in. So this is a water to go bottle. Now, everyone's concentrating on the environment and plastics and everything like that. Now, anyways, plastic water bottles shouldn't be sold to you by water companies now, basically. You want to use reusable. The reason why I packed the water to go one is because it's built-in filters in it. So if you are in a position where you are running out of water, you can drink contaminated water with this. It's works the same as the Sawyer filter system. You must check dates and filters all the time. You can buy replacement filters for these. Again, any good bushcraft store will sell these, so it's always good to know. But I would suggest carrying these and just putting fresh water in it every night when you're making your pieces, or you're stopping at the burger van, whatever you're doing. These are great bits of kit. I'm not too sure the prices of them now. I think they're about 12 quid, around about that. But I think that's a great bit of kit, and especially more so if you're going to get stuck somewhere, you want drinking water, basically. They said rations, put some food in, that's going to keep it by, whether it's chocolate bars, packet of biscuits, packet of muffins, whatever it is. I've just got some MREs, so these ones are the preheat. You seen them beyond the beaten track? So they're just the preheat ones. It's rice pudding, need that anytime you want. That's a self-heating pack, so nice and handy. Pick them up, any decent store will sell them. Put them in your packs. It's all wet free, it's not heavy. None of this kit's heavy and it doesn't take up much space. First aid kit. Now, that's a nice bright first aid pouch kit. There's nothing too hardcore in that. However, this one's mine and I know how to use it. But Bill Boggins comes along, doesn't know how to use it, and you know, he's trying all sorts of shite on you. So make sure you've got a first aid kit that's generic for people. Okay, so that's my first aid kit. I won't go into that, it's a whole different thing that we've covered before. Just make sure it's visible and it's not like in a wash bag that you don't know what it is and everyone's rummaging through your pack to find a first aid kit. Even at night time I can see that, it's visible and I can feel it. A torch, a decent torch. This is your Light Warrior. That's about 5,000 lumens. Now, you can buy any torch you want as long as it's good for the environment. This is impact proof, waterproof, everything proof, more or less. This will probably last longer than I do, so this is good. What I like about these is these are USB chargeable, so these will plug in to any chargeable device that you've got. Battery pack, so you carry this. They'll advise you to put a battery pack in for your phones and mobiles. So you put your battery pack in, this will run off that. So that's what I like about it. I don't need to carry different packs of batteries and worry about them running out, touching each other, leaking and shit like that. So nice and simple.
Only one thing I will say, Del, some of the cheap shops that are selling the rechargeable packs, they're not worth, they don't last. I'd say it's worth spending a wee bit to get a decent one.
Definitely. What I would say about that, that's the power pack, power bank. So that's about 2000 AMH. Just read what they are first. Now I had one of the solar powered ones. You've seen them. You can buy them on Amazon for about 3 quid. I left it on my dash and it blew up when it got too hot. It actually expanded away from itself. It was shite. I remember using it one time I was testing it on the phone, see how long it would take to charge the phone. It took about 1 bar on it and took about 20 hours for it to do that. So the gimmicky ones are gimmicky. If it hangs onto your backpack and it's solar powered, the solar power that you need to charge your phone isn't that small. So, you know, you need to pull it out, need to be a meter by a meter. And you know what I mean? So I have seen those explode. It's definitely exploded. So these repower banks are good, that charge. It will run out eventually. So keep everything charged in your bags that you're putting in. Do it as a weekly check. You're going to get bored doing daily checks, so do weekly checks on some stuff. Just have a checklist of what you should be checking. You know, Sunday night, sit down with a brew and sort out your kit for the week, depending on where you're going. They also said warm weather clothing. So in here I've got socks and a hoodie. Basically covered all of what was in their grab bag apart from a radio. They suggest a windless radio, a wind-up radio, sorry, so that you can listen to most places. I changed that. I put comms on there because we can listen to a radio on it. These you can buy the battery packs for, so you can charge these. Also, this one charges off. You can buy the car chargers for them. Now they come with a car charger. You can actually get a car charger adapter that will plug into the power banks. It will drain the power banks, but it is doable if need be. Plus, you've also got means of comms. So to me, that's just taking up, that's saving space, but making one item useful for two. So that was their basic, what they suggested you put into that. What's your thoughts on that?
I like that.
I think it's missing one key thing. And can anyone think what that is?
Fire lighting.
No. No.
A knife.
Nope.
An axe.
That's all things we'll go on to, but that it's missing one key thing, and I think that
a mylar blanket.
Correct. I think they overlooked it that much that it's such a simplistic thing that they've forgotten. Now, a generic first aid kit will have a mylar blanket in it. St. John's issue them, so you'll see them everywhere. Now, the simplest of thing they've forgotten off that list is a mylar blanket. For yourself, if you're down.
I think they were trying to make it for if you're stuck at work or you're stuck somewhere that you're going to be in shelter. You fail to think that.
Yeah, but even so, a mylar blanket is pretty much indispensable, really. And I think if there was one thing that I think that they should have put onto that generic list would have been a mylar blanket. You can pick them up for £1. They're absolutely the space on them is absolutely they're absolutely tiny. So they're absolutely tiny. Now this one here is a bag and sheet. We'll go into that. So any questions on their standard bag? I liked it.
I think it's small enough to fit into any bag.
Yep, it'd fit into your gay handbag, your gay bag, whatever type of bag you want.
Your man,
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So your backpacks and stuff. So your gender neutral backpack, whatever you want to call it. So it'd all fit into that quite nicely.
I agree with what you said about the first aid kits.
I think it would even go on your dog actually. Yeah. Get the molly pouch on your dog and you could pack it on that, you know.
You have your brightly coloured one that for anybody to use.
Yeah. But
you have your one. But the other thing I would actually say that they didn't actually put in was if you're in medication or that is your medication.
Well, they did actually. If you read the small print on it and if you work out the kind of emergency services wording for it, they put down important information, documents, etc. in the bag. Now, I would keep that in my notepad there. So they're saying a preparedness plan, everything like that. Everything like that would be your heart medication, stuff like that would be in that small pack, however you want to carry on it. You'd probably carry it on your persons rather than in your backpack. Anything that's that important to you, you'll carry on your persons. So that would be my take on that itself. But it's a valid point, right. Totally valid point.
They made the big play about the kit, but they didn't say, well, what happens if you an extra, because normally you would take enough for what you would use in a normal day.
Yeah.
They didn't think, well, this may be extending it.
I think that kind of expands. I think like if they were moving away from the generic part of it, then that's expanding on the kit. That, like, you know, your warm weather kit, your rations and everything like that. Make sure it's all glucose tolerant and stuff like that. You know, I think that's expanding on all the items in your backpack.
Personal medications.
Yeah, they could have done that, but they did state documents etc. So I think that's kind of quite generic to cover that. But it's a valid point to be aware of. If you know, had more than a 24-hour period of pills. You know, if you've got a heart problem, then put 3 days worth of pills in a pill box. You know, if you think you're going to need it, then do that. If you're going to get the shits or whatever from wherever you're staying, put something in. You know, it's going to happen.
It's a school.
You know, if it's going to happen, if the water source is contaminated and that, people are going to get diarrhea and stuff. So put something in there. Put glucose in, the Kendall mint cake, etc. You know, put all that type of stuff in. I think sometimes as preppers, survivalists, bushcrafts, we kind of go a bit OTT on stuff, or we kind of treat civvies as stupid people because they don't carry what we think they carry, and we kind of don't want to explain what we want to carry. So we think it's a waste of time actually telling you what to carry because you're an idiot for not doing it. You know, that's the kind of thing that people think. You know, so it's just a massive area that you need to cover. Now I'm going to show you some additional items that I'll add to the kit. I'm going to show you some additional items that I'd add to the kit. Everyone's different in what they'll carry, so this is by no means, it's just what I would add to it to make my stay comfortable. And as pointed out, you know, money's in your wallet with all your things like anyways. So if you want to be trading, get your coins out, trade your gold, pull your gold fillings out. If you want a Mars bar, take your gold filling out.
Is that the Leatherman's fun?
Yeah, exactly. But the Leatherman's not on it. Point of note, UK based. It's illegal to carry fixed blades, folding blades.
I've got £20 extra.
So,
in case I lose my wallet, I've always got an extra stash of 20 quid to give me
I carry separate things too. So things that would be in my bag. You can always lose a bag. So keep things on your person that are personal to you and that you know that'll help you through. So your wallet, stuff like that, your Leathermans, keep them on your persons rather than in your bag. Your bag can get stolen, your bag can get lost. So I'm going to move on I'm going to expand on that a little. And this is just some of the things that I would add to it. It's not heavy, and it's by no means complicated. It's just a few extra things to think about, to carry in for different situations. So many different situations, as Joe pointed out, so many different things in the world. Earthquakes, bombings, stabbings, shit going on all the time. You know, you cannot physically carry a bag big enough for every incident on the planet to think about. So grab bag, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a comfort pack because to me that's what they've designed with that. It's just to get you out of your transport breakdown, your place of work. So we'll add some more things. So we've got their kit, which is all warm weather clothing, first aid kit, torch, power bank, pad with your preparedness action in it, a map. If you're not used to the area, some of you might carry a map, some of you might not. Some of you might never even need to think about carrying a map. You can carry a compass. I've always got one in my pack, so that's just old school for you. Water, your rations, and your wash bag. So that was their kit. So we'll move on to a few different things that I thought, for me, what I'd like to add in my pack. So one of the next things would be a fleece blanket. So nice and simple, nice and light. You've all seen them, you've all felt them. They're all nice, decent. Any decent good shop will sell them, and they'll be cheap enough too. So that's a nice fleece blanket. So I put in that. Doesn't take up that much space within your pack. Next thing, a pair of gloves. Quite often overlooked how good a pair of gloves actually are and the uses for them. So it's quite simple, hardly take up any space. In the winter months you'll probably wear them on your persons anyways, but if you don't, just keep a pair in your pack. They don't have to be expensive, however these ones are, but they don't have to be. I like good gloves, I use them for work every day, so that's what I like decent gloves for. Waterproof gloves, etc. if you need to. Next thing, housewife. I'm going to put housewife in there. Oh, it's not called housewife anymore. gender. We've got to think about gender people, haven't we? Sewing kit for those. Okay.
Tailoring kit.
So yeah, so a sewing kit. So nice and simple. You rip your crotch on your pants. You don't want your bits dangling out, whatever gender you are. So you stitch it up. All right, nice and simple. Lose a button, whatever. You've got a nice little housewife there to line up. I've also got reusable hand warmers. I don't know if anyone's seen these. These are really good. You boil them in the kettle afterwards. You have to keep using them. Obviously, it depends where you are in the world. You don't need them in fucking Mexico. So you know, unless it's the winter. So does everybody want to see these? So they're really good. So again, no space. Hardly take up any space in your pack for them. Put them in your pocket. Put your hands in your pocket, keep you nice and warm. And then when you make a cup of tea, just reboil them again, and it resets the gel for you to split and heat up again. Nice and simple.
Believe it or not, it's actually this what's in the gel.
Yeah.
It's salt and vinegar flavouring.
Yeah, so I believe. The next thing in that is the Mylar blanket that I think they overlooked, which is a massive thing. This one comes with a bag as well, so you can make a survival shelter with it. Now, obviously, you don't need to do that at your computer desk. So, you know, it depends where you are, but I think for the size that actually is, why wouldn't you? You know, you can wrap yourself up in it, cosy, away from everybody else in your office, and do what you want in it, you know. You've seen them, so simple as pick up a Mylar blanket for £1 or something like that.
Pound
so,
they're selling them £1 for the... basically, it was actually came a wee bit of cordage as well, so you could you can make it into a picture.
So well, I'm moving on to that. A small hanker paracord. So again, hardly any space in that small hanker paracord. Even if you've got a survival bracelet, you wear a survival bracelet, you can rip that down, use that. So these are just additions to the kit that you think you might need. You know, you're not going to need the hanker paracord in Asda, or are you? You don't know.
If your trousers fall down, you need a belt.
So a hanker paracord's always good to have. Next thing, don't overemphasize home comforts. A cup and your favourite coffee. You know, if you're pissed off after 20 hours somewhere with people that you don't particularly like, let's face it, we all know them. You know, you want a wee bit of home comfort in there. So, you know, instead of drinking out of a plastic bottle all the time and that, just have a wee mug in there. Just a little bit of home comfort. It'll give you a nice fuzzy feeling, and you'll be like, nice cup of tea or a nice coffee. They're just coffee bags. They're one of my favourites that I like. I think that's a dead simple, overlooked thing. As just a wee morale booster to yourself. Just have that within there. Map of an area, like I said. If you want to add that. Nice and flat, nice and simple. Shove it down the backpack where the camel pack goes. On your backpack, or your man bag, whatever, bum bag. Put that in there. Shmag. So, overlooked. Some people might not say it's not essential bit of kit. I never said any of this was essential bit of kit. This is just a comfort. So this is like having a blanket. So, again, the only reason I'm carrying this with the fleece blanket is you can use this as a towel and things like that too. So if you don't have a towel to wash yourself after you've been using your toiletries, use your shmag. You know, it's nice and simple. You can put it over your head and switch off from the world too without getting the blanket out. So there is uses to that. Now, you'll be thinking, why hasn't he put a face shield in there? You don't need a face shield. You've got cotton shmag. So that's why I like to carry these too. So yeah, you can put face shields in there and all sorts of things if there's smog, if there's dust and things like that. You don't need to with this. You can wrap this around your bonnet and put it over your face. You can wet it, you know, damp it down, put it over. So this covers a multitude of different things. So I would carry that. Not necessarily if you've only got a face mask and you haven't got one of these, you're not going to wipe your face on the face mask. So put it over your head to cool you down, are you? So that's got many different uses. Again, it's not heavy kit. That's a woolly hat. I love wearing hats. I wear hats all the time. So some people might actually forget how cold it gets and the weather gets. Again, depends on the environment you're working in, you're living in. You know, there's no need for a woolly hat in the middle of Mexican summer. Okay, so again, it's personal choice with that. I like woolly hats. So that's that for the comfort bag. Now also in there, I'd add my fire kit. I love playing with fire. I'd probably set fire to the building. So, but that's something totally different. I like fire kit. Fixed blade. I carry a fixed blade. I don't carry it in Asda or anything like that, but I would carry a fixed blade if I was going somewhere that it was a wee bit different. You know, if I was on a train journey down to London and the train stopped in the middle of nowhere and everyone's off doing whatever, trying to find somewhere, and the network's down and stuff like that, I've got a knife. I'll be off into the woods, making my wee shelter, have my wee fire, and I'm all right, Jack. So basically, dependent on where you are, what you are, and what you're doing, is what you carry. Again, we're all grown men. We know where we should, what we should, and what we shouldn't be doing. So carry what you think is essential for that. They're small additions. Now, one thing that gets overlooked: fab gel spray. Within the UK, we're not allowed to do most things. You're not even allowed to say boo to someone who's trying to rape you anally. Okay? So, fab gel is great for spraying in the face, identifying them. If you've seen an incident or you're involved in an incident, you can't do anything as a UK citizen apart from report it. But it's fab gel, spray it in the face. We can't use pepper spray because they'll sue you and stuff like that. But fab gel is an identification mark. They put this on different things like the Lifesaver rings and stuff like that. They will put on so that they'll know if you've tried to tamper with it. Nice and handy if you've got your wife's or your kid's kit, and just put that in their little grab bag. You can make that into the additions bag without the additions. Just put that in. Doesn't take up any space. So think about that. The fab gel. It's UK legal. You can use it. It's the only thing we can. But it's a great little addition for it. So I've covered most things. And last thing, things to overlook, put a book in. Now this just happens to be a disaster preparedness handbook. So when you're in the middle of a disaster, you're reading it and know what to do. Can I drink that engine oil? Let me see. Yeah. Get 500 calories from Castrol. So, right, so that's just...
I bet it's a magnetic GTX.
Yeah. So I'd just be aware that everything is cancerogenic these days. So a simple reading book. So loads of people have overlooked that. Years and years ago, we all used to have books. We went you went on a train journey, you took a book and stuff like that with you. So people forget that because they've got all the devices now, too busy seeing what's going on YouTube and everything like that. Which is some good channels on YouTube, by the way. So, but throw in a book, have a read, take your mind off things. That's my additions kit. So that's what I would add into that. Any questions?
That's it. Pretty much as you say. Self-explanatory, and it's common sense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, common sense in this day and age has went out the window.
But I think that's where they've done a good thing, the Emergency Services Police Scotland, by doing that. I'm being Preparedness Month, but unfortunately, there's too many people that jump on it and say, that's crap, you haven't got this in it, you haven't got that in it. I'll go against that and I'll say, I actually think it's a really good thing for Joe Bloggs to think about. The only thing I would add to it is, I'd message him and say, shove a Myla blanket on it. That'd be my only opinion. Now, I saw someone being interviewed on the BBC yesterday, a so-called survival instructor, Primal or whatever I think it was. Right.
Primal Bushcraft and Survival.
Yeah.
Matt.
And his take about bags and things like that. You know, not everyone's ex-military, not everyone's ex-special forces and whatnot. Not everyone bushcrafts.
Wants to be.
Yeah, not everyone bushcrafts. Not everyone does survival. You know, it was a good idea. And I think people are overlooking that. Even the press were overlooking it. You know, they were running about on the BBC with a bag, pulling, would you use this for Brexit and stuff like that? Oh yeah, I'd put a bottle of wine in it. Well, yeah, that's fine. It's a comfort bag. Put a bottle of wine in it if that's what you want to do. You know, but the point is, it gets everyone talking about it and it gets everyone thinking about it. Personally, I think it's a great idea, but just change it to the way you want it. That's not heavy at all. I've added some extra things in there. Just to show you, like say, I couldn't imagine the size of backpack you'd need if you wanted to shove everything in possible.
4 Bergens.
But it's impossible, absolutely.
4 Bergens, 8
you
Sherpas.
probably need 10 donkeys and all sorts, man. But it's absolutely impossible. But that's just my take on it. Anyone got anything that they think is an essential that's been forgotten?
For me, I take a bag and a bin bag because I'm
To poop in.
That. If I get wet, I can put my clothes in it and keep everything else dry.
Yeah, good idea.
And I always end up picking up rubbish everywhere I go.
Yep.
And it's just annoying having to stuff it in my bag.
I've got the survival bag with the Myla blanket that you can do that with. So it's got other uses. You've got. I think what's important is that try and find more than one use for things that's in your bag.
The but try to look for a brightly coloured one as well, so you can actually use it even as a flag over here,
Yeah, that's right.
just in case there's something. A thick black marker pen, I would say.
To my notepad.
No, a really broad tip one, so that you can actually put marks down somewhere to see, even if it's in a building, you know, we are in, and an arrow pointing.
Absolutely. You can put tape in there if you want. You can put, you know, put a roll of duct tape in there too, as well if you want. A roll of electrical tape, coloured electrical tape. You can use coloured electrical tape. It'll stick to just about anything. You can put that on, mark your arrows and things like that with that. So you can do that. You can cut up your Mylar blanket to put signage in for help. Down different locations for it too. So even a simple pair of scissors in there, but then scissors need to be under 3 inches if you need to carry it too. Maybe some safety scissors.
You've got your wee
penny crane.
snip scissors. And
Yeah.
take you forever and a day to cut anything out with them. They're in the sewing kit.
But I think it's important not to gloss over why they didn't add the knives now, and I can totally understand and appreciate why in today's society why they didn't put any form of multi-tool. There's so many multi-tools without blades on there that they could have put, you know, without naming companies like Leatherman's Rebar. You know, that's totally designed for Britain's EDC with no fixed blade, no blade at all. It's bladeless. You can buy the bladeless model. You know, you've got your Gerber suspension and stuff like that. You know, you've got your cheap ones that break as soon as you try doing anything with them anyways. But, yeah, so, which one's that, Jay?
Rothenberg.
Yeah, like I say, we've got the cheap ones that break, that you can't open. So yeah, so some of these are bladeless, which is really good. Like I say, you've got your main thing on it. However, that one's got a blade on it, so that's not good. So that wasn't really a good example, but there you go. We were just showing you the different types of makes.
Yeah, it's an example of a budget one.
Yeah, so that's good. It's good to see. But yeah, I think for me, the multi-tool and the Mylar blanket's essential on that. And I would say a rebar, go for a bladeless rebar, and you're keeping yourself safe on that, which is important. Spectacles. If you wear spectacles, have you thought about carrying a spare set?
Spectacles.
Glasses.
I'm
trying to be nice. So you know, if you've thought about that, contact lenses. That's all things that you were saying about expanding on your first aid kit. You know, do you carry those? Do you put those in there? So there you go, spectacles. So
shopping bag.
Perfect. So they're just a few extra things that you can add to that. This flashlight.
Music.
And one thing about the wind up, I don't know if everyone's ever bought the wind up torches and things like that. The cheap ones, the budget ones and stuff like that. They're not very good. You can take forever and a day to try and wind it up, and then you press it on and the light doesn't work because the LED's broke on it. Or it winds up and goes on for about a minute, and then you need to rewind it. They're not always as good as what they were when they were first made. Winders. That's why I didn't put a radio in there. I put a com set in. You can buy we've seen the battery packs you can put on them. So you can even get the rechargeable packs. So that's why I put that on there. And just for different, you don't need to be a radio operator to use it in an emergency. So that's why I suggested that. Any other questions on that grab bag? Anything to change? Anything that I think I've done wrong on it?
No.
As the year goes on and as the club goes on and moves on, I'll go on to different bags like the inch bag, which is the I'm never coming home bag. That's what inch means. So if ever you hear that, then the world's fucked. Okay, so basically you're gonna die anyway, so it doesn't matter what you put in that bag. You would never put enough stuff in that bag for I'm never coming home bag. They talk about putting packets of seeds in there. What the fuck is use as a packet of seeds in that bag?
Hemp.
Oh, I'm gonna go and build a farmstead with my inch bag. That's great, mate. But have you got 5,000 rounds of ammo and an Armalite in it too? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, there's things that are totally Hollywood and totally made up. And another thing which was bugging me for the past couple of days, and I'll just brief over it and then we'll finish on that. But it's like, I got banned on a couple of sites this week. But there was people on there and they were saying, oh, these preppers that escape from reality and do a bag for zombie apocalypse and all that, and they're escaping reality. I'll tell you something for a fact. The whole zombie thing was never what it was meant to be. Now, the United States government come up with action plans for shit hits the fan,